Aimbots, wall hacks, trigger bots. We have all heard about the many different types of cheating that can occur in online gaming. Many times we have in fact witnessed such things, with the perpetrators even caught live on stream or at competitive LAN events. These are some of the things that PC players have to deal with. On console, however, such things are not possible, despite what some might tell you. This is a large reason why many gamers choose console over a PC to game on. However, I have come across someone pretty well known on the Battle Tracker leaderboards who has been cheating and artificially boosting his way to the top. Today I will expose this player and show you what unbelievable methods he has been using, so stick around, grab the popcorn and watch until the end. Welcome back everyone. To anyone that follows me on Twitter, Facebook or is in my Discord knows that I am not one to shy away from exposing people who leave me nasty comments on PSN, Twitter or in Facebook groups. I do not hide their names and I do not believe I should. And today it is the turn of John 007. That name may sound or look familiar to you, especially if you are a regular checker of the Battle Tracker website, particularly the Battlefield part of the site. He is currently top of many PlayStation 4 leaderboards on both Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5. He is even one of the featured names on the Battle Tracker homepage. If you are a regular domination player in either Battlefield game, you will most likely have come across him also at some point. I always felt there was something a little bit suspicious about him, especially the way he played. And many others I have spoken to have said the same. He was not that good a player, yet somehow he was able to maintain such a high win percentage and such a high KD. I simply put it down to him artificially boosting them by quitting losing games or when his KD dropped below what he currently had. In the end, he was quickly forgot about. At the time, I didn't know how wrong I was, and it ran much deeper than him simply boosting his stats, all of which you're going to find out in this video. It all started a few weeks ago, when I seen the following screenshot of a domination game by a friend. A game which John was in. Do you notice anything particularly weird? No? What about now? There were 3 accounts in that game that either did not spawn in or spawned in within their own spawn area and did not move from their own spawn area. What also caught my attention was the fact that all 3 accounts had identical pings. These pings were also matched the ping of John. The accounts in question here also had some of the worst stats you have ever seen. I am not joking. Like, look at these stats. I am talking about a score per minute of less than 10 on some of them, and insanely low KDs, like 0.01 of a KD. These are not accounts used for the purpose of playing the game with. They were being used for something else. For the purpose of this video, these types of accounts will be referred to as ghost accounts. My friend also sent me another screenshot of the very same game after John quit, when it was clear his team were not going to win and they were going to lose. Notice how all 3 accounts are now also gone. A coincidence? Well, that's what I'm set out to determine. I know that right now you're most likely thinking, as I was at the time, there is no way he could have 4 PlayStation 4 consoles online in the same game at the same time. Like what? Come on now. That's insane, right? There must be some other reason for it. But what if there wasn't? What if he has been doing this to know where the enemy always was? What if he has been doing this to take up the spots on the enemy team of ghost accounts? Basically, inactive players to increase his chances of winning. Right now, he currently has a win percentage of 99.89% as of the 31st of January 2019, with just over 30 days gameplay. That in itself is quite unbelievable, but it's true. There are his stats on the screen. So couldn't this theory also be true, even if it sounds unbelievable? I set out to methodically prove or disprove my theory that he was using multiple PS4s and multiple accounts in the same game by firstly looking at recent battle tracker reports. What I was looking for were accounts that not only had very poor stats like the ones I have previously shown, but I would also be looking for things like no kills, maybe at a few deaths, but that they were also in the game for its entire duration. In every single game, and I do mean every single game he was in, there were multiple accounts like this. The accounts would change from day to day, but these ghost accounts were always present. I noted down some of the most recent ones, but the sheer amount of ghost accounts was staggering. The next thing to do was to spectate him in a server. For those of you that are not familiar with Battlefield, you can spectate an entire match going on and view the perspective of any player, view different camera angles, or even have a bird's eye view of the map. It is delayed, however, to obviously prevent cheating. So how could I tell if he was using a ghost account? What I needed to view was that he was controlling these suspected ghost accounts. If he was controlling one of them, while his main account was not doing anything or was inactive, multiple instances of this would prove that. So I joined one of his games, I checked the scoreboard immediately, and straight away I recognised two accounts from recent battle tracker reports. Cheney25 and Rick Mac. Now I understand Rick Mac isn't the exact name of the account, but for the purpose and ease of this video, that is what I'm going to call it. The Cheney25 account was on his team, and the Rick Mac account was on the enemy, the opposite team. There were two others in the server, however, their pings did not match up to his. The Rick Mac account was spawned in, it had a very similar ping to that of John 007, so I went to spectate that one, but nothing was going on. It was lying stationary and it's staticless until the end of the match. In the following game on Aerodrome, John left the server for a while, but both suspected ghost accounts remained, so I stayed on. During this time he eventually did join, but left again after he dropped below his current KD and rejoined a second time. But just as before, and just before his team lost, he again left the server. Neither ghost account ever spawned in. So far, I have only been able to determine partly why he is able to maintain such a high win percentage as well as such a high KD, because he bloody quits so often. There was no evidence yet of him using ghost accounts. But that is about to change, and here is where things start to get a little bit juicy. He rejoins the same server and is able to change sides as is about to be shown. Initially I thought he was able to do this because of the suspected ghost account Cheney25, but after inspection of his friends list, the player Rock Phillip is on his friends list also, and that is the most likely reason. You can switch teams if there's a free space and you have a friend on that team. John 007 spawns in, as does the suspected ghost account, Rick Mac, the one on the opposite team. The Cheney25 one remains in the spawn area. The Rick Mac one is again lying down, chilling out. I feel like it's going to remain like this for the entire game. However, 5 minutes into the game, the following is about to happen. John 007 will be killed again after previously getting a revive. I will switch to the suspected ghost account Rick Mac. I do this every time after he dies to see if there is any movement when John is in his own spawn screen and not able to play with his main account and control his player. The Rick Mac account moves for the first time and it is being controlled by someone. Suspiciously, John 007 has not spawned in yet. I keep an eye on when John spawns back in and then switch to him. Once he is in control, the Rick Mac one no longer moves or is being controlled. In a few seconds I will again check on the Rick Mac account, still no movement while John is moving. That is until John pauses again. Once again I switch back and Rick Mac is once again moving while John is not. So when the suspected ghost account is inactive again, John once again is moving. So when one player is active, the other is not. I have my first proper piece of evidence that he has another account on the other team. I know I have caught him, but many might still think it is a coincidence and I do not yet have enough evidence, so I need repeated instances of this occurring. Well, John Boy doesn't disappoint. Of course, he has another quit and rejoins the server, but when he's back in, it happens again. Keep an eye on the ghost account highlighted. Rick Mac is about to be found and killed. John will notice this and will attempt to hide his main account somewhere to take the time to spawn the ghost account back in. I am just waiting on the red X disappearing, then I know the account has spawned in and I will check on it. There he is, spawning in the ghost account once more, lays down like before, and then I change back to John and he is back controlling his player again. I quickly check the Rick Mac account once more and it is still stationary. I now have evidence of this occurring twice. Is 2 instances of this enough to convince you that he is using multiple accounts in the same server? Well, there were at least 2 more examples of this occurring during this particular game. Let's show you one more. His ghost account is about to die once more, so he must find another spot to hide. This time he chooses the upstairs of a house. Of course, as he stops moving once again with the main account, the ghost account spawns back into the game and is laid back down into position, and John goes back to controlling his main account. When I seen this for the 3rd time, I knew he was cheating for sure. 100%, he is cheating. He is controlling this ghost account. This many times was not a coincidence, but one thing that I was wondering at the time was, why is he spawning in the ghost account on the opposite team? Why not keep it in the spawn screen so you can see the entire enemy team's position more easily? Well, here is why I think he spawned in the ghost account. In Domination on Battlefield 1 it was a 12v12 game mode. In Battlefield 5 it is slightly bigger and having 16 versus 16. Your choice of spawn is either a random spawn or on a player within your squad. You cannot spawn on a flag, even if you hold that flag. So therefore, by spawning in the ghost account, he is controlling an entire enemy squad spawn location and can then more easily predict their movements, positioning, and then see when they actually physically spawn in that building on his ghost account. Additionally, he most likely has the settings of the ghost account set up in a way so that when he enlarges the minimap, it shows the entire map so he can see enemy positions regardless. I also found it interesting that he has what appears to be ghost accounts on both teams. Let's not forget about the Cheney 25 account that was in his own team that stayed in the spawn screen during the entire game on Narvik. Why is that account there, I hear you ask? Well, it makes perfect sense. There is 2 reasons for this. By having one on each team, he can switch teams if needed when rejoining the server after previously quitting. As long as there was space on that team, he can manipulate which teams he joins back by adding or removing ghost accounts. Like, this guy has literally thought of everything to make him appear like a good player when he is anything but. I will now show you an example of him changing teams. The following evidence was recorded 2 days after the previous recordings, and there was a reason for this. He usually changed ghost accounts every few days, and I wanted to show evidence of him using different ghost accounts. And of course, he didn't disappoint. He is on team 2, as you can see. He has one ghost account on the opposition team, that one is now highlighted. I cannot pronounce the name, but I can tell it is his by the ping and the fact that it is lying inactive, and also I checked the stats of this account and it matches the typical stats of a ghost account. He quits the server and rejoins, only to quit for a second time a few minutes later after rejoining. Typical John. He is not doing well at all, even with his cheating. That is largely in part to the 2 guys at the top of Team 1. I recognise them as competitive players, so they are well above the skill level of your average player, John included. At this point I switch to looking at the scoreboard and wait for him to rejoin. Look who joins Team 2 once there's a free space. His Cheney25 ghost account from 2 days earlier. So now there is a ghost account on both teams, and both teams are also full, 16 aside. So you know what's coming, don't you guys? He has set up the perfect conditions to join the winning team. The new ghost account on Team 1 leaves as shown, creating one free spot. And of course, look who joins, John Boy. He has successfully engineered his way onto the winning team with the good players. As I sit here and record this audio part of the video, I still cannot believe what I'm watching. I have seen this footage many times, but the lengths, the crazy lengths he goes to ensure he wins each game and maintains his win percentage. He reminds me of the type of guy that would still be angry that his win percentage has fallen below 100%, as he's obviously messed up somewhere. I'm sure that has always been his intention, but he messed up somewhere and I'm sure he's even still raging. Anyways, that is one reason why he uses at least one ghost account on each team, and how he gets around the fact that there is no team switching in Battlefield 5 compared to Battlefield 1. The second reason why he uses one on each team, or should I say, why he also uses a ghost account on his own team, is so that he can use that account as a means of getting a particular weapon for use as a medic right from the start of the game. Let me explain for those not familiar with Battlefield. In Battlefield you have 4 different kits to choose from. Each kit has weapons which are only selectable for that particular class. The only way you can change a weapon without being in the spawn screen is by picking up from a dead teammate or a dead enemy. John 007 is working around that in a way, and this is clear to see from his stats. Let me give you an example. You can see that he has 2 hours 35 minutes game time as a support player. This is accurate as of the 31st of January 2019. Yet he somehow has 32 hours with the KET, a weapon that is only selectable by the support class. Now, to have that much playtime as a random pickup weapon is not realistic at all, when compared to the playtime he has for that class that uses this weapon, and that is where the ghost account on his own team comes in when needed. He has been spawning in with the ghost account, redeploying straight away, and then he spawns in with the main account and picks up that weapon, so that he can use a support, assault, or scout weapon with his medic kit and be able to self-heal when he wishes. You are now about to see an example of this. He spawns in his main account and will make his way to the left of C flag, which is highlighted. You can see him pausing and he will redeploy his ghost account, Cheney25. Again, I have slowed this down and highlighted it. You can clearly see it being redeployed and the player dying. He will take his kit and will be on his way with the M1907 assault weapon and a medic kit for the rest of the game, in which he never dies. Here you will see more evidence of this. I did not have his ghost account which he redeployed selected at the time, but here you can clearly see it has 1 death to its name and it is now in the spawn screen once more. This ghost account has fulfilled its purpose. To anyone that is doubting the authenticity of what I have found, I have linked in the video information the raw recordings from my time viewing John 007 in spectator mode. This is the unedited footage. I am sure some will still doubt it and accuse me of editing the video and clips in a way that makes it look bad, but I assure you I have not done this. In those raw recordings you will see some things I did not include in the main video, which will only reinforce what I have found. This includes instances of him knowing where players were when he otherwise would not have had a clue, like most players. I'm talking about people in buildings, not moving or firing. They are camping there and he throws dynamite on the exact location of where they are and blows them up. I think the evidence shown here is near on unquestionable, and his cheating is laid bare for all to see. I don't like having to openly lay bare and expose the cheating activities of a particular player, but the level of cheating I have witnessed by John 007 is inconceivable, and I never thought it was possible. Well, it was always possible, but never thought anyone would do it. I never thought anyone would go to the lengths to cheat and know where players were in this game that he has went to. I still cannot believe it. I would also like to mention that the activities of a few other players, real players, was observed while in the server watching John 007. I will not be naming names because I am not sure you really realise what you were doing, but you have been aiding a serial cheater. Stop it. There may also have been a few other popular Battlefield players seen playing with John 007 in either the clips in this video or in the raw files linked. These players represent a well-known platoon, Pro Legion Gaming, and I know that a few may use this to attack that platoon. Now let me make this perfectly clear. Do not do this. I know people in that platoon as well as the guy who runs it. He's a nice guy, they are a good group, and I know they would not condone this type of behaviour. His platoon should not be thrown in with the likes of John, even though some members have a bit of a reputation as team stackers or rage quitters. I do hope those players did not know about this, but if you did, shame on you for continually playing with him. I hope that John has been the only person doing this, but most likely there are more out there. I will continually keep an eye and my ears open for this type of stuff, and already I have my eyes on others. If anyone else suspects someone is doing this, follow my steps. Look at the battle reports, recognise the oddities, and then observe them in spectator mode. You have all the same tools I did, and they can be identified and banned. If you are unsure, then send me a message and ask me for my interpretation on what you have found. I can be contacted on PSN, Twitter, Facebook, or on my own Discord server. All the links for these social media accounts are listed in the video information also. Please, do not ask me to look into someone without first looking into them yourself. Please also do not send me who you think is hacking or using aimbots on console. That stuff is not possible. Do not bother me with it. In finishing, I would like to thank Evan200490 and Slapperjacker for helping me uncover this cheater. In my next video I will carry on this topic regarding cheating on console. The next video will include stuff like third-party controllers, SMK adapters, what is it and is it cheating? There will be some very interesting findings in that upcoming video. I would like to thank everyone who has taken the time to watch this video. It's been long, I know, it's been a bit longer than I hoped it would be, but please share it, like it, leave a comment if you wish, and hit that subscribe button to know when I next live stream, and also be notified of what I unearth in new videos. There is some exciting stuff coming up on my channel very soon, folks. Catch you all again in the next stream. Thank you for watching. See you in the battlefield, John. Oh wait. Oops.